I've got one of the pieces in here, but I'm gonna go over a neat little tool that I've got. This is the whole point of this video. So this is called a parts shaker, and I found out about one of these probably about 2 or 3 years ago. And for little stuff, now I've got options. You know, I could just take this part, and I could take this part. You can see, I'll go in the light so we can see. It's got some rust going on. You know, it's not perfect, but I don't want to throw this back on the car. If I can make it look nicer, I'm going to. Also, the battery tie down. You know, these are perfectly usable parts, but I could freshen them up. I could also order new ones, or I could go to a junkyard, but the chances of finding these in a junkyard looking any better here in Ohio are pretty slim to none. So I could also take them to my buddy who does powder coating. I've got to take these trailing arms over to him, and I've got a handful of other pieces that I'm going to have powder coated, but that takes time. That's a turnaround time. I got to drive out there. Obviously I got to pay him. I pay him well, you know, like he does a phenomenal job. So I try to pay everybody that's friends of mine or anybody that runs a business, small business especially, pay them well, take care of them, you know, tip them, give them, you know, give them what they're absolutely worth. So, now these small pieces, I decided, you know, I don't really need to take these to them. I could, but I wanted to get this car together pretty soon, and I'm not really concerned about the rear discs that much or the other pieces that I'm taking to him. So I figured if there's a way for I can take away some work from him so he doesn't need to, well, that sounds bad, but I don't need to bombard him with a million pieces. That's the best way to word it. I can actually use this parts shaker, and it's a neat little tool, and I have to do nothing. I just buy it's got little ceramic, looks like little pieces of, I don't know, they're pyramids. Now they are super sharp, so when you pull these out, be careful because you actually could slice your hands with them. So you can buy this whole setup from Harbor Freight. So this is what they look like. Just little tiny pyramid pieces. Now they're gonna be extra sharp coming out the box. I bought a new container of it because these I've used for hours on hours, probably 100 hours of parts that I've kind of small pieces, bolts and whatnot that I've shook over the years. So I bought some new stuff to add into there, but also one thing that I like to add in there is a lubricant, because if you just run it dry, it doesn't do a good job. So they've got a little port in the bottom, you know, where you could pour out the liquid, but I like to use vinegar, distilled vinegar. This stuff is also, it's a natural acid, so even if you just lay these parts in vinegar in a container for a day or two, you're gonna notice that rust wanting to just wipe right off. Now, when it's a little bit deeper, like this piece, for example, the rust, it's pretty deep, so it would take a couple days sitting in there. This kind of works in both ways. So it's cutting away, it's eating away at it with the ceramic pieces in there, but also it's acidic, and it's kind of like, it also gives it the effect like if you're wet sanding something. You notice when you're dry sanding, there's certain applications where wet sanding works better, and you notice that it cuts a lot faster when the lubricant's there. So it's the same way with these pieces, with the ceramic pieces. When it's wet in there, it cuts away faster. It's not just dry shaking it around. It does a lot better job. It works quicker. So, but also the acid portion of it's going to be eating away immediately at the rust as well. But this is one tool that I think is really neat. It comes in multiple pieces at the time, I believe, when you purchase it. I got this one off of Craigslist Marketplace. Harbor Freight sells these in 2 different sizes. I believe it ranges from 100 to like 175 or 150. Now that was pre-COVID and things have gone up, so it might be a little bit more now, but I would assume a piece like this, if it did go up, it probably didn't go up a whole lot. But this comes off, this actually will slide off. So then you put the washers on, and it's got these little pieces that you screw down all the way. All right, let me get this tight. Got flip hands. That's pretty good. A little bit more. Okay. Then we just take the lid. It's the same thing. Let's get this one on there. Okay, lid. It's got a rubber washer. Then it's got another washer. Then a lock washer. Then you can screw this back down, tighten it up. Now normally I would not do this on a table, and I would not recommend ever doing it on a table. You can see how unstable it is, but just for the video, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on so you guys see what it does. And then I'm gonna take this, put it in my shop, because it's a little bit noisy. I have run this in my basement though, in my house in the wintertime when I'm just not wanting to come out in the garage. That was kind of before I had heat out in here, so I wasn't very motivated, but I would run this thing in the basement, and honestly, you wouldn't really hear it at all. So I'll turn it on. As you can see, everything on the table is shaking right now, dancing around. So that's why I would recommend not doing it on the table, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off right now. Yeah, this stuff really is moving around. Okay, but you see how it works. So I'm gonna actually take this off, and I'm gonna put the other pieces in there as well, and we'll be good to go. I'm gonna take it, put it in the shop, and then I'm just gonna let it do its thing. I'll come check on it probably in 6 or 8 hours, see how things are looking. But normally this thing runs for about 24 hours, and sometimes it's longer depending on how bad the rust is. But this thing's done a great job, so I'm kind of curious to see how things turn out afterwards. I'm gonna do a little, hopefully a before shot. I probably should have done a little before shot of this piece, but you guys saw how rusty it was. I'm gonna shake it off and just get a little shot of it so I can use it in the beginning. But yeah, there we go. Pretty rusty. Let's flip it over. So I'm curious to see how nice this turns out when we're done. I'm gonna flip it over here. That'll be a better shot. Okay. Pretty rusty. There we go. So yeah, I'm gonna take all these parts, put them over in the shop, turn it on, and we're gonna see how things turn out when we're done. So yeah, just stay tuned. I'll come back. I'll probably show a couple in-betweens, maybe like 8 hours, then another, well, next day. Let it go all day, see how it goes. So, but I'll do a little bit throughout the time frame just to see like the, what's the word? The progress. So yeah, stay tuned, and I will be back with some progress video. Thanks, guys. All right, I've got the shaker set up, ready to go. It's doing its thing, so this is all you have to do. Just let it do its thing. I'll see you later. Okay, so it's been about 4 hours. Man, I hate my ceiling. I did not do the drywall work in this garage. I started fixing it over here, but this looks terrible. So this is not me, by the way. I would never do this bad of a job, and I can't wait to fix it, just so you guys are aware. I just wanted to put that out there. Well, back on track. It's been about 4 hours, and I'm gonna go ahead and open up the part shaker, let you guys see the progress. Now, I'm gonna say there's some other reviews on YouTube about this machine. Some of these guys are even, you know, like professional machinists and whatnot, and it's not to call them out or nothing, but they'll only run the machine for like 1 or 2 hours, pull out the parts, and expect everything to be perfect, but that's not the way this machine works. You need to give it some time, kind of like polishing. Polishing takes a lot of time. It's the same process. So we'll pull it out just to see the progress. I am going to let it run all night long. Another thing that I saw on some of these videos, or you know, this one guy, he complained, said the machine got super hot within just 2 hours. I'll be honest, I've let this thing run for like days. I forgot it. And I've never had an issue. Seriously, never had an issue. I'm gonna go in here. I know you can't tell that it's warm or cold by me telling you, but I'm gonna go in there, touch it, let you know if it's warm at all. And I'll pull out the pieces, let you guys see the progress. So let me go ahead and open it up. By the way, this door is like glass, super thin, and I got the machine running. That's how quiet it is. Like, it's a little noisy when you get up close, but when I said like you could run it in your basement, not notice it, it really is that quiet. All right, so let's shut it off, take a look inside, see how things are looking. I might even pull the pieces outside. Since it's sunny out right now, we can get a good look at it. All right, let me grab this. Oh yeah, that's already, this thing was just covered in rust. So it's been eating away at that really good. Let's take a look at this piece over. Now, it's only been 4 hours. Like I said, I let this thing go for, let's see, I let this thing go for about 24 hours at least. But I want to take a look outside. Hopefully it's still sunny. There we go. Let's get a good view on it. There we go. Okay, so this thing was absolutely covered. It was coated in rust. Now this is just bubbles right here, just from the vinegar bubbling up. But you can see like the color of the vinegar, it's all rusty, so you know it's been chewing away at it. It's just been eating up this rust. Backside, it's a lot better too. I mean, a whole lot better. So it's chewing away at it pretty quick. It will get down in those little crevices. Sometimes it's a little harder to get in those crevices, so give it a little bit more time, but it can get down in there. This whole area was coated before, so it's been cleaning it up nice. You can see like down in the, hopefully that gets in focus, but you can see down in the little pits. But to me, looks like it's doing a fantastic job right now. Like, I'm super happy with those results for just a few hours. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it back together. Let's take a look at a couple other brackets actually. Apologize for my mess. This is my shop. It goes through its phases of being super clean and super messy. Let's see what else we got in here. Yeah, you can see the water's rusty, which that's, well, not water, but vinegar. The vinegar is rusty, so it's doing a good job. This thing looks brand new. Now, it didn't have a ton of rust on it, but it still was really contaminated and just looked gross. That thing legit looks brand new. This one's looking a lot better. It will get in there most likely and get all those threads cleaned up. And see if we can find the bracket that I put in here for the radiator. Plus, it's like a treasure hunt. Makes it even more fun. Okay, there we go. Look at that. This was coated in rust. Now, there's some bubbles there. It still needs to work in there. Backside, it's chewing away at that rust. It's starting to eat it away. All the rust that was around here, it's all gone. I'm not gonna lie, that's good for 4 hours. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead. Now, with painted items, I will say, I would expect it's gonna chew away at the rust, but it won't usually remove all the paint. So you might need to scuff it a little bit if you really are trying to get paint off. That's something even professionals, like I've noticed, like when I've taken bolts, I'll kind of show you. I've taken my bolts places to get refurbished. Let me get a rag really quick out of my pocket. My hands are soaking wet with vinegar, but these are bolts that were all really rusted up, and I've had them all refurbished, so they're like new again. But even the ones, let me see if I can find an example, but ones that might have some paint on it, even the professionals, they can't get all the paint off of them. I'm not really seeing a good example. I still think I left those kind of in a bag, but with paint, for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to take it off, but it does eliminate the rust, and that's the main thing we're looking to do right now. So pretty happy with that. I'm gonna go ahead, put it back together, and I'm gonna let this thing go probably just all night long. I'm not even gonna look at it later tonight. I'm just gonna let it keep going. But as far as yeah, let me go ahead and talk about if it's, yeah, this thing's freezing cold, so there's no heat coming from it. That's a good sign. The guy in the video that was talking about it being too warm, he did have the smaller version. I looked it up. I think it's about 70 bucks. I said 100 to 150-ish, 175. That one's only about 70 bucks for the 5-pound. I think this is the 18-pound version. So it's quite a bit bigger. It's about 3 times bigger. And you can just fit a lot more in there. So if you're gonna do larger parts, or if you're gonna do a lot at once, this would be the machine to pick up. So there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and kick it back on. Let it do its thing. So I'll come back tomorrow morning and we'll take a look at the parts. How's it going, everybody? It's day 2. This thing's been running about 24 hours now. I just got back from doing a few quotes. Had to run out and do a couple quotes. Business is starting to pick up, so that's a big plus. Time to make money again. So I've got Elise in the garage with me. You want to say hi?
Hi.
And we are going to go ahead and open it up, take a look at them, see how they look. So it's been going about 24 hours now, and I'm going to flip the camera around, turn the machine off, and I'm going to go ahead, open it up for you guys. You want to reach in there and grab them and pull them out for them?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Here, how about you stand over here so we'll have the light for them so they can see, okay? All right, baby. Can you take this and set? Oh, you got it. All right, go ahead and set it down, okay? All right. Well, let's reach in there. Go ahead and grab one out. Shake it off, okay? Let's take a look at it. You want to hand it to Daddy? All right, it's got some bubbles on it, but look at that. That looks great. Okay, here, you hold the camera for Daddy and film. I'm gonna spray this off really quick, okay? Point it at that. Watch it, okay? Here, stand back. There you go. I'm gonna just spray this off with a little bit of alcohol. Kind of get the bubbles off so we can get a really good look at it. Man, that looks good.
The
Okay.
alcohol smells really weird.
Alcohol smells weird?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a little bit of pitting on the back still. No big deal. I mean, I could keep this going, but I might even just Cerakote over it. It's gonna be fine. So let me see the camera really quick. Let's get really close into the light. There we go. Look at that. Now there's a little bit of pitting right here. I mean, it is tiny, very tiny, but compared to what this thing was before, I absolutely could not be happier. Like, this looks fantastic. So no need to buy a new bracket now. There's a couple options. For brackets, I like to Cerakote this stuff. It's really simple, easy to do. You run it in your, just a standard like paint gun. This is the stuff that I use. This is actually Glacier Titanium. The color is perfect on this. So I've used this on headers, exhausts, holds up really, really well. So brackets, it's definitely gonna hold up really nicely. No heat. It's gonna be on the bracket, so it'll be nice. Let's take a look at the other pieces, like the battery tie downs. Let me try to find them really quick. See where the battery tie downs are. There's one. Okay. You want to grab that piece? Okay. Get the battery tie downs. Find number 2. There we go. There's number 2. All right. Let's get those cleaned off. There we go. Look at this. These things look like brand new. See, it even got in there. Got the threads all cleared out because these were filled with rust. Got in those little tiny threads. Cleared them out. You want to turn my phone off, baby? All right, so there we go. Well, I think this turned out fantastic. Let's take a look at this piece. Let's just clean it up nice. It's got a little bit of pitting in there, but I could still Cerakote this, and I think it would look great. So, got the rust off. That's what we were really trying to shoot for, was getting the rust off. Gotta say, I'm happy with this. I could Cerakote this piece. I could probably sand some of this paint off, smooth it out with some 400 grit before I Cerakoted it, but this is actually like perfect. Couldn't be happier. I appreciate it, guys. I'll probably go through the process, a couple ways that you can actually coat things, and later on in a new video. So, but I can't believe that. That turned out fantastic, and hope you guys are happy with this too. So stay tuned for some new videos coming out, and I appreciate it. Thanks.